Welcome, everyone. Gonna have to get used to the microphone. We'd like to call this meeting to order. First, thank you to everyone who's here in person, and thank you to everyone who's joining us at home on our YouTube channel. We'd also like to especially thank Pablo, Samuel, and Daniel Watson for helping us with the setup and the recording of tonight's event. So thank you so much. Our first order of business is to approve our minutes from January 13th, 2025. We provided them to the board members previously, so do we all approve? Awesome, thank you. So for this open meeting for our Home and School Association, we want to focus for everyone listening in on what the HSA does for the ACS community. In particular, we're going to talk about all the events that have happened and will happen, some of the activities, and the different items that our organization funds. We'd like to start also by letting you know that a huge part of what we do here is made possible by the generosity of our own board members who are seated up at these tables here. Over 90% of our donations and time come from them. This is how much we believe in supporting our students and our school community. But we also know that the best support comes from all of us working together. If you've ever thought about donating or volunteering or getting involved, now is a great time to jump in. Every little bit helps, and together we can help make an even greater ACS community for everyone. So thank you to everyone who's here from our board, but also thank you to all of you who are joining in to help be a part of this process. We really appreciate that partnership. Okay, we'd also like to just review our treasurer report and to very quickly review that since our fiscal year began on July 1st, 2024, the HSA board has had a net profit of $7,822.59, which is great. Okay. So some of you who are here or listening in at home, you may be wondering, what kinds of things did the HSA fund? For this school year, for the 24-25 school year, we have funded teacher grants, which include wish lists for items for the classrooms that teachers have asked for. Many of you may have also joined us for the welcome breakfast on the first day of school. We provide dinner for the faculty at back to school night. Anyone who came to that back to school night, those teachers were energetic and ready to present to all of you because we fed them well. You may have also participated in our pumpkin decorating night. That was during our book fair. That was fully funded by any of the funds from the HSA. We fund field trips for the classrooms. We subsidize that. There's sometimes a portion that parents contribute, but a portion of the funds are provided from the HSA. We provide educational assemblies here at ACS for the children. Coming up in March, we're going to have a visit from the Health Barn USA, which all grades will participate in. And fourth graders will also be attending an in-house brain show that happens towards the end of the school year. In addition to soliciting for volunteers and all of us volunteering, we provide all of the activities for Field Day in conjunction with the school and with the physical education department. And we also fund the fourth grade end of year memory books and yearbooks. Each fourth grader is gifted a memory book. So in addition, from the Leonia Education Association and the HSA funds, we're able to give each fourth grader a book as a gift. So it's really important that we all be thoughtful and mindful to continue to donate so that all of these wonderful activities can continue and help, our children to have a great experience.
Okay, so now that we know where our money goes, we are going to give a little information about where the money comes from. As she had said, a lot of donations come from within our board, but we also have events that we coordinate and manage to bring in money. One of which is the school toolbox. 15% of sales come right back to the HSA, which goes right back to the students. So from this school year, just from school toolbox, we made just over $700. We also have spiritware. So the profit this year so far has been over $1,000 just from spiritware. So if you go onto our website, acfhsa.org, there's a link to spiritware online store, and you can purchase directly through there. Student photos. So this one I didn't know until I joined the board. And I feel like a lot of families also don't know that student photos, when you purchase a package, 20% of the package price goes right back to the HSA to fund more of these amazing programs. So some of the fundraiser events, beginning of the school year, we had Leo the Lion, Step the Mascot. The profit from that event was just over $2,700. We also coordinate, manage, and run the book fairs where a lot of parents volunteer their time to help us ring up purchases and, help the kids out. From the fall book fair, we made just over $2,700 as well. Look out for the spring book fair coming in June. Fall festival. So this year was the first year we held it at Wood Park. I think it was a great success. We have some lessons learned, and so look out for that next year. I think it'll be back even better. The profit from that was just over $1,400. Thanksgiving cake and pie sales, that was another first for us, and we made $629. Giving Tuesday, I'm not sure if anyone knows about that. Most of the donations from that came within our board, but we were able to generate $2,890. So that's it for the ones that passed. We have some events coming up. The next one will be we don't talk about it. Okay, sorry. We'll go back to that. The next fundraiser is going to be Mom's Night Out, Paint and Sip. We'll have communications on that coming up soon. That'll be on Friday, March 21st. That's also a fundraiser. Following that will be Global Peace. There should be communication out for that. If you don't know what it is yet or you haven't seen it, again, go to our website. But that's going to come up on Friday, March 28th. And our biggest fundraiser is a spring gala. That's going to be Saturday, May 3rd, and it takes place at Inglewood Field Club. It's just a really good time. It's adults only, so start planning for a babysitter. It's dinner, drinks, mingling. It's a good time, and silent auction. Okay, so the next event that is actually coming up, this is Helen Show. That one, we are going I'm not sure about the date. It should be Thursday, this coming Thursday. Okay. So we're confirming this Thursday. It was supposed to be last week, but because of the school closure, we had to reschedule it. So look out. Come watch the kids this Thursday at the Leonia High School Little Theater. Come out to support them.
So in addition to being able to fund different projects for the children in their classrooms in terms of like the wish list that teachers ask for, or many of the other things that we've done, on the horizon, we have some big projects that are planned. And the biggest one is a school grounds beautification project. You may remember that earlier in the school year, we sent out a survey asking about the playground and gathering information about everyone's thoughts about that. And so we're very excited to have started that process along with the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, the administration here at ACS. We're in the planning process of different phasing of that, renovating the playground. And so it'll happen over time. It's not going to be like all at once where the playground is just this whole brand new process, a whole brand new playground. but we're very close to starting that process. And one of the ways in which we're going to do that is you'll notice some outdoor painting of different murals or different ways to just make the school grounds look more beautiful and more inviting. And so that's on the horizon. In addition to projects like that, mostly we really want to build connections. We want to build connections between obviously the home and the school. And so we're building bridges between schools and families, and our class parents are a huge part of that. Our class parent network officer is not here tonight, but she is a great liaison for class parents to be able to communicate with teachers directly, to be able to provide support for them, whether it be through activities that they do for celebrating different events. I can share that coming up for Valentine's Day, you may hear about children writing cards and Valentines for first responders out in LA, or for children whose schools were burned down, who lost their campuses. That's one of the things that we're, hoping to incorporate into our Valentine's Day projects with the classrooms. And again, the class parents make all of that magic happen. So we're very appreciative of all their work as well. This year, we've also started we've brought back, because it did exist before, a food committee to be able to voice families' concerns and questions about the school's food here at ACS. Alina is our wellness officer, and so she is helping to sort of spearhead that, to communicate with the school and with the food company and the Board of Education as well. So it's a big process. It's a lot of communication, a lot of back and forth, but we look forward to being able to share some of that information with everyone soon. Everyone sitting here can see the huge lost and found pile behind us against the wall. And perhaps maybe some of your children's items are in there. But Tina is spearheading that committee to organize it, to help sort of categorize things, to help children be able to find things more easily, but also for us to take photos and get that out through our social media and through Parent Square posts to be able to, find that winter jacket that amazingly is missing from your home, or the, water bottle that you can't seem to find. So again, look out for that as well. And speaking of looking out for things, communications obviously is a big part of building that bridge. And so Kristen Williams, who's one of our communications officers, is just going to speak a little bit about how to connect that way.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? So I work with Christine Kang, and we're the communication co-officers, and there's been a big effort this year to just improve on past communication between the school, between the board, and between the families and parents at ACS. So there's been a lot of revamping of the website, which you can find at acshsa.org. That will link you to all of the upcoming events, current fundraisers, ways to donate, and it will also link you to other ways that you can communicate with us and interact with the HSA and ongoing events at the school or within the district itself, because we're also trying to coordinate and promote other events at either LMS or HSS and really be a strong community. So within the website itself, it's a really great, place to just learn everything about the HSA and what it's doing and how to get involved and how to interact. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, Parent Square notifications that Ms. Neyra and the team thankfully send out for us last minute all of the time. We're working on a YouTube channel that was just set up. That's a great way to watch both board meetings, be involved, stream live events as needed that we can put together. So we really encourage everybody to sign up. You can start with the website, and that will link you to every other social media account that you need to find on our behalf. And we really look forward to your engagement through those portals.
Thanks so much, Kristen. And so finally, the last part of our presentation is really the connection that we are making now with our new principal, with Ms. Neyra, who is here to check in with everyone, to share a little bit about where she sees things headed, and share a little bit about how she hopes to connect with all of us as well. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
So I'm going to take a little bit of time just to share with you just a little bit about what's important to me, my vision. And I've only been here for a month, but I have some ideas that are generating. And so I want to take some opportunity to share that with you. And then also let you know that coming out in this week's newsletter, I'm planning on these kind of like monthly for the rest of the school year, either in the morning or later in the evenings. These kind of smaller engagements to be able to dialogue back and forth with parents in a much less kind of like formal setting, to hear from you more about, what's been going well so far, what are some things that you still have concerns about or things that you want us to try. Overall, we are trying to, I know there's a big desire for families to be welcomed back into the school. I'll start by saying I am a parent of two elementary school age kids. So when I say like I'm in it with you, I am literally in it with you. I have a 7 and a 9-year-old. And so I want to know what are the things that you want, because as a school leader, I'm not only leading as a principal, but I'm also leading as a parent. And so I know as a parent, I want to be, when I can be, part of my child's school experience. And so I am looking, just so that you know, for more opportunities for you to be able to participate in your kids' learning. One thing that we do have coming up, Read Across America Week, is coming up in March. So we've opened back up on a smaller pilot scale this year, just to get folks back comfortable with that. The opportunity for families to come in and do read alouds with their children. So that's one way that we're starting to do that, and there'll be more. And like I said, when we have those smaller engagements, I want to hear your ideas about how you want to participate in school with us. So like I said, I am a parent, and also just an experienced principal. I'm coming from almost 20 years experience in middle school, but now coming down to elementary school. And so what I can say as an advantage point for me is that I know what your kids are up against when they leave elementary school and when they get to middle school. I have that larger kind of vision of what it is they need to exit with, because at the middle school level, I received kids, and some of them had the things we needed them to have, and some of them didn't. And in my community back in the Bronx, we did a lot of work around how do we kind of meet all of the needs of our kids, and they came from all the different elementary schools. The benefit we have here is we're a community that has one elementary, one middle, and one high school. And so my thing is I want to create really, really strong foundations for your children so that they are really prepared for middle school and then really prepared for high school. I'm thinking about your kids, even when they're going to be in high school, what are they going to need to be equipped with? So the things that are really important to me. First and foremost, I want your children to know that, and for you to know that your kids are safe and that we care about them very, very much. You send them to us. They're the most precious things that you have. And so we want you to know that we care deeply about them, and that they are safe and cared for here. And I speak for myself, and I speak for the teachers as well. They really do adore your children. We want them to become, kind people, empathetic, tolerant, and all of those things. When they feel safe, when they feel loved, when we're building this kind and empathetic human, it opens them up for all of that rigorous academic learning that we want for them. If they don't feel safe and they don't feel cared for, it's impossible for them to focus on their learning. And that's why we know that we're an academic institution, and at the end of the day, their learning is really what's most important, but they will not get to any of those things if those other two things that I've mentioned first, and that's why I say them first, are the things that we focus on. And so that's something that's super important for me. Again, as a parent, I think about that, and as a school leader. And so with those rigorous learning opportunities, I'm still getting to know how the curriculum operates here. But I'll say what I ultimately want is a really rigorous learning experience. I want your children to leave ACS being critical thinkers, problem solvers, collaborators, to be able to see and understand different people's perspectives. They need to exit being really fluent readers. Math will come with that. Social studies comes with that. Science comes with that. They need to have skills that will travel with them in no matter what content area that they're in. And so my goal is that, as I'm learning more about the curriculum offerings that are currently here, and collaborating with our staff, I want to respect and honor the work that they are doing every day. But I also, if changes need to be made, I want to help them and develop them, and then collaborate with them to make, any changes that may or may not need to occur.
there is really amazing work happening here. I share those newsletters out every Friday, like very proudly. I'm very, very fortunate and grateful. I stepped into like a really amazing space. And I just want to, do my part to continue to improve it. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm very happy to be here. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I hope to really be here for a very long time.
Thank you so much. So we did have one question from the community that was submitted previous to tonight. Brian Kim is wondering if ACS has a plan to run a new math program which brings some challenging math materials to help stimulate students' interest and confidence for each grade level. Their child is a second grader, and they're really interested in this.
So that made my heart happy. I'm a former math educator and special educator, so I love math. So I will say, another thing that's very important to me is transparency. I don't get to make decisions on my own about where curriculum goes. I do get to influence those decisions, and my way about going about those things is to get input and backing from our staff, and then I get to be the person who really pushes for things to happen, and I'm happy to do that on their behalf. I will say prior to me getting here, the district did make a decision to sign on for another 3-year contract with the current curriculum that we have in place. But I think for right now, that's okay, just because we are also making adjustments right now. Our current focus is literacy. We're really focusing on bringing in a really strong phonics multisensory reading program, so that kids are learning evening and also revising our pre-K curriculum so that our pre-K students are entering kindergarten. We want to optimize on that and really make sure that they're ready for kindergarten, really focusing on literacy. So math buys us a little time. With that said, we are currently working as a staff on how do we beef up the current curriculum that's in place. So our teachers, they just started last month engaging in professional learning communities. One of those professional learning communities was around adding math centers to their instruction. So the math centers will give them an opportunity for kids who are ready for more to be able to receive more. They can be pushed a little bit harder in those centers. Kids who need a little bit more support, conversely, can be given those additional supports because the teachers are able to tailor this kind of rotating style practice to personalize and tailor to the needs that are in their class. Again, I'm learning a little bit more. We have the same curriculum in my own district, so I know it as a parent perspective. But I do, my philosophy around math is that kids need to learn and understand concepts more than really focus on getting the answer. And so when opportunities arise, I, even personally if possible or through staff development, to try to beef up the curriculum that we do have to help teachers to make sure that they have the conceptual understanding of mathematics that's necessary, and to also bring those manipulatives back in, right? At a very young age, kids need to learn how to manipulate and play with and kind of operationalize numbers. They need to see and touch with their own hands, right? What does it really mean to count out 10 of something, right? What does it mean when I think about groupings of what does it mean to multiply in terms of grouping addition? So all of those kind of ideas and concepts, not just memorizing 5 times 4 is 20, right? Knowing that really means 4 groups of 5 or 5 groups of 4. So those are things that even with the current curriculum, we can really develop our teachers in making sure that they have those understandings. And then when the time comes, that contract is up. I do definitely have some ideas that, I've shared with our district on, where I'd like to go. I won't share them with you yet because I think it's premature. But just know that, math instruction is very, very important to me. And we're going to focus on literacy for right now. And that this 3-year contract is just some time, but we don't have to, ignore it. We can still do a little bit of work in the meantime.
Thank you so much. Does anyone here live have a question? You can step up to the podium. There's a microphone there just so that all of our audience at home or online can also hear. We can take a second to kind of regroup. board members included, you're allowed to ask questions also.
I know it's only been a month, so to be fair, like, I'm sure this isn't fully formed, but what are some of the strengths and flip side weaknesses of the school that you've noticed so far?
I think I'll start with strengths. I think, you know, like I've said a little earlier, the staff, they really do care about the kids here. They collaborate really well. I've been in a lot of their common planning. There's a lot of systems around that already in place that I walked into, and the teachers are excited for those opportunities to work together. I think along with that, what I'm trying to work towards is a bit more cohesion across classrooms, and that comes with some of the work around curriculums that I mentioned earlier. I want kids to have, teaching styles differ, teaching personalities differ, but I want all families to feel confident that no matter what third grade class they're in, they're getting a quality experience because the teachers are collaborating, they're agreeing on what's occurring day to day within the classrooms. And then there's slight nuance changes within each classroom because kids are different in each classroom. But the core learning that's happening across all classrooms is coherent. And that's something that I see is happening depending on the team, is happening with more or less fidelity. But what I will say is that in talking to teachers, it's something that they want. And so I think something that I'm working towards is supporting them and how to creating systems for them to be able to do that. And then that's also, I think, what comes with the support around having the right curriculum for them so that they feel like they can do that. They feel like they don't have to make so many adaptations because it's meeting a lot of the needs.
I know I could have just been confused, but we recently got an email assessing the gifted and talented programs, but I was specifically told we did not have a gifted and talented program at HCS.
Do we? I'm still learning a little bit about gifted and talented. I'll start with, you received the survey because there is an audit that's about to occur with gifted and talented across all 3 schools in the district to try to create, I think, improved, more authentic experiences for children. My understanding of what's in place right now at ACS is the Global Citizens curriculum. There is, from my understanding, criteria which is used to determine giftedness at the district level. And then in the event there are children that hit that potential for giftedness, that individualized plans are created for them. One thing that I'm hoping to kind of, I guess, get from this audit is how do we help or, share with families the difference, say, between offering acceleration to children versus children who are gifted. Giftedness is something that hits maybe 1 to 2% of a population. It's a very, very low number. It's not just your child, reading at a higher reading level or performing well on assessments. It's that they literally see the world in a different way. And so I think as a community, really sharpening our understanding around that, and then making sure that we do have a robust program for the children who do meet that criteria. And so I think that there's something in place here. It meets what would be, the needs according to the state, but I think we want to create something that's a bit more personalized and a bit more authentic for the community.
So, as a Korean liaison and as a food committee, I would like to suggest that so we have like a meeting every 2 months, and we talk to to parents who have older kids. Before pandemic, parents were allowed to come into cafeteria for lunch, and they could pay the grown-up fee, and they could have lunch together with their kids. And we'd like to bring back this policy
because we have a lot of complaints and they are very concerned about school lunch. And for example, last Friday, we got reported that the milk is very close to expired. Actually, at the day it was expired. Um, so now we know that like milk doesn't go bad at the day. Probably it's okay, but it raises our concern about over food quality and freshness. And if the staffing is an issue, a lot of parents want to volunteer. So we'd like to bring this back. And we also have some complaints about behaviors of some of the lunch aides communicating with the kids. So to increase the transparency, we'd like to bring back this policy.
So I'll say that, I think parents, I'm not going to say where my decision lies in this because I think I need to get more information. What I would say though is I love the idea of parents wanting to volunteer their time. I'm open to exploring the idea of parents coming in to enjoy a meal with their kids. What I want to be careful of though is that I want to hear your concerns about maybe how lunch aides are treating children, but I don't want parents to feel that they are responsible for the behaviors of the adults, right? The people that are responsible for the behavior of the adult food administration, right? And so I would always welcome that if your child comes home and explains about experience with any adult. It could be a lunch aide, their teacher, someone in the hallway, anybody, an SSO agent, it doesn't matter who. If for some reason they're not having that safe and loving experience that I said I really want here, please encourage them to either, come to Mr. Breyer and I to share it with a guidance counselor or to share it with you and you come and speak on their behalf. Because, I definitely want to address those concerns. But I don't want families to feel like they have to come to lunch to do that because that's our responsibility, right? And that's a burden on you. And if you were to come here because we were to say, opens up some opportunities for you to have lunch with your child, I want you to just have lunch with your child, right? And enjoy that time with them.
Yeah, it's not that like we want to surveillance the school, but like it's important to know what they are eating, and so I think it's very important to us.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. I would love when I know you guys are trying to get in communication with Marciano's around. When you do have a meeting with them, please let me know. I'm happy to join if it's helpful, or if not, or to for you to debrief with me after to figure out how I can help on my end to make the options what you guys would be make you and the kids happy.
I just want to add that. So some things that we've been kind of talking about is like the a la carte items. That's not having things every day. What parents are told that's not going to be targeted that they can buy it every day. Maybe like having other kid-friendly items like a cheese stick or applesauce or fruit cup or something like that that's still like just like thrown to. The other things we had a committee and some parents brought up maybe trying to have like a fresh food Fridays, like like buying locally versus having like a frozen option. Also, like transparency. I think right now it's a little difficult on the website to see like the menu and like I didn't know for myself for several years because that's the number two and see what the ingredients are, and I think that'll be helpful for parents to like have a clear way to do that, and also to know that they can limit options. They don't want your kids getting confused with it. So I think just in general, I personally don't like the food Machios have. I know we have a contract with them, but they can make these changes that I think are more possible. Oh, sorry, thank you. More possible in the meantime. I think that would be helpful.
And then you can go to my kids' school and get the better a la carte options too, because my kids get
I just want to add that the newsletter, the Friday weekly newsletter is a huge help. It's something that personally I turn to over and over again over the weekend. The next week I'm like, what was that I have to go back to? Let's spread the love. What am I doing today? Or the lunch menu is there as well. It's a great kind of one place to go to. And so I've really appreciated that communication, which again, I feel goes back to your desire to be transparent, and also to work with us, with the HSA board. You know, Justine and I, which I realized we didn't share our names, Justine and I are the co-presidents, started last month a monthly meeting with Principal Neyra, and we will continue that monthly meeting to continue the communication beyond the daily emails that we communicate with her as well. But I just feel like that open communication between HSA and the ACS administration leads to more of those connections that we talked about earlier. So thank you.
And I will say, I know that the trend in the past was for a lot of like parent square notifications throughout the week. I mean, there's going to be times when those still come to you because we want to remind you about something that's, you know, coming up. Like I'm sure there's one coming for the talent show this week for me to send out. But I did want to create like one space, like Melissa shared, that, you know, you can refer back to for like, oh, I need to remember this. I, you know, forgot that. You know, again, being a parent, I know like if I get a text kind of like randomly on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock, it kind of gets lost in the sauce of my life. And so those kind of individual communications will kind of continue, probably at a lesser scale, because the whole point of the newsletter is to minimize them a little bit, except for like reminders or necessary urgent notice. But that you can expect that every single Friday, unless for some reason like I'm on my own deathbed, but I'll probably still, because I start putting it together like earlier in the week. But it's also an opportunity. Another thing about talking about parents really knowing what's happening in school, like what are we doing this week? What special things happened? You know, what are the things that make us smile each week and make it a really fun experience for your children? And so I'm hoping that you know, thank you for the accolades on that. I'm hoping that it's, you know, it's helpful for everybody.
So, Ms. Neyra, we have a question that came in for you. The parents would like to know, how can they help with your vision?
So we just had a meeting. I think it was called the Parent Academy that occurred, I think I believe it was late January. We are going to have another one in June. The focus of that is going to be like play-based games that have like kind of a learning twist that families can do at home with their kids to kind of support the work. We want to take on the brunt of learning, but as parents, you know, you want to kind of like help and support that. But I also know from my own experience, my daughter has asked me several times not to be her teacher and just to be her mom. And so I don't want to put you in that position either. But there are lots of fun ways that you can educate your kid, and you're kind of tricking them. They don't even realize, because it's a lot of fun. So one way that I will say that I know we have coming up that you could support us is attending our next Parent Academy that, like I said, I believe is going to be coming up at the end of May or June. We still have to nail down a date, but we just talked about it. And one thing that I said is like, let's have families come with their children, right? Experience and play the games with us. Let's model for you how they work. Do them together here. And then, you know, the ask is, hey, you do these things. We're doing it at the end of the school year because we have the summer coming up, and we want to, the one way that you can help us is to continuing some learning during the summer. And so that will be the idea for that. I think in general, the best way to support us is really just like, we don't want to bog down families with things like homework. I just talked with one of our grade teams that they were like, Ms. Neyra, what's your vision on homework? I said, well, homework should be a little bit of supplement, but families have things that they're doing together, activities that their kids are in. They're trucking them around. And so I'd say the very most important thing is that you get your kid in a book for at least 20 to 30 minutes a night. The more that they read, the better readers they become. That's just simple the way it is. And there'll be a little bit of other homework. You don't need to check it for accuracy. That's the teacher's job. Just motivate and encourage your kids to do the little bit of homework that we ask them to do. And I think, you know, model yourselves how to be kind, empathetic people. Like, kids learn through modeling. We are the examples, and that's how they learn. We can't say what we want and then do something different. And so I think as a community, if we model the things that we want from kids at home and at school, they see that consistent message, and that's how it gets sticky. If it's different from home to school, that's when it gets messy and confusing for kids. And so really saying like, hey, I want you to feel safe and loved. Your teachers really care about you, right? Working with them on empathy and tolerance and being care and kind to others. and then with that little bit of support with the learning and stuff, I think that, I don't want to put too much burden on you. It's our job to make sure that they learn.
Hi, my name is Raquel. My son Jacob goes here, and my daughter will hopefully be coming next year. I do have a question about food, and it's kind of three tenets of it. One of them is the group that we do have the contract with. One, is there a way to find out, especially with today's climate, if there's a way that we find out, because one of the things we teach at home is making sure that we help those that may not have the same thing that we have at home. So food insecurity, anybody who maybe has food insecurity, local areas, the food that we don't utilize, is that something that we can find out from the organization so that we can teach that at home, that actually we do know that the food is going to a group? That's my first question. My second question is there a way to also find out if we can work a little closely with a lot of the farms and organizations that are here, that we can maybe have a more closely farm to table so that we're supporting locally? I know that there's a farm of someone we went to school with that has eggs available. And the third part of that question is recalls that are happening, which is a little daunting. So just making sure that the group we are working with is keeping a close eye on recalls. So it's really those, again, going back to food, but it's important because it helps them really understand and learn every day. So thank you, and it's lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those suggestions. I don't have any answers for you, but I'm going to look into them.
So we attended the tasting meeting, and we were told that everything is for them, and they leave it here. So it would be really great to bring some of the ingredients, and like from scratch, they can see the real food.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, I think, for us to have fresher food.
I have a question about your vision for the preschool program. And I do have a question that just nagged at me. Why don't we have math in pre-K for your pre-K 4? It's been a mystery, and I was wondering if you knew why.
I just got here. I don't know why we don't have that. I will say, in terms of pre-K curriculum, we did, this just came up on Friday in a meeting with Dr. Caramanos, our assistant superintendent, just around the teachers have voiced that they have concerns about how well the pre-K program is preparing the kids for kindergarten. They're working with a pre-K for all model kind of curriculum. And so we did start the conversation around exploring other options. My thinking is, not every child, and not every family chooses to send their kid to pre-K. But if they do, we need to capitalize on that, right? Those children especially should be exiting pre-K, like really, really confidently ready for kindergarten. And so, like I said, we did start some very, very preliminary conversations around exploring other curriculum options. Yeah, more to come on that. But yeah, I would say that the teachers are kind of in agreement that, they'd like to see, they want to be doing more so that they feel like there's alignment between what's expected for the kids when they leave them, and that they're really, really ready even to, be beyond what, they really only need. Because kindergarten is kind of messy in that way too, right? Because some families send their kids to pre-K, some don't, and so kids are coming in. Kindergarten teachers are a godsend. Because they're dealing with all sorts of things. But right, we have them here and they're here for a full day. So let's capitalize on that and make sure that they're ready. So it's definitely something that we're exploring. Last call for questions.
Well, we want to thank everyone who joined us tonight, both in person and on our YouTube channel. We are very appreciative of your time, and we're appreciative of your support. If you missed any part of the discussion, don't worry, we'll be posting the recording later this week on our website, on the YouTube channel. Eric, is that right? We'd love to keep the conversation going and get more parents involved, more families involved. So please help us spread the word. You can share the YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Sorry, that'll be available on our website, but also if you didn't get a chance to ask a question or if something comes up later, you can always email the president, which is president@acshsa.org. You'll find that on the website too. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We really appreciate it.